Welcome to 5 Stripe Weekly, everyone. This week, we decided whether Brad Guzan or the Post was man of the match against NYCFC, and we preview a tricky midweek fixture against our playoff nemesis, the Columbus Crew. All that and more coming up.
Welcome to the show, 5 Stripe fam. I'm AJ, this is Tanner McLeod. Before we get into it, become a member of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button. So let's get into our match from Saturday. It was a 1-1 draw against NYCFC at Yankee Stadium, and to draw against a team that's 6-0 at home and to get a point from them is pretty massive, if not a bit lucky.
Yeah, they had 18 out of their previous 18 points at home. No one could take anything off of them. And Atl Utd go in there and do just that. And especially, it wasn't a vintage performance from the 5 Stripes whatsoever. Especially with the form we've been seeing them have on the road so far this season, Houston result aside. You know, Atl Utd did well to get that opener in the second half, especially after Almiron went off injured. And for a while there, I was like, maybe we'll just have a lot of luck go our way and we'll ride this out to like absolutely smash and grab 3 points. Unfortunately, eventually, obviously, they did get their goal, but that was not without a lot of trying and effort from NYCFC's part. Yeah. They fully deserved it. And in my opinion, they deserve 3 points as well, and Tata seems to agree with me on that.
Yeah, definitely. He was not happy after the match, and he was pretty much saying that we played like crap. It was not like a good second half at all. But, you know, especially when we weren't holding possession very well. NYCFC had 25 shots in the game. I believe 10 on goal. And
sounds like me in Football Manager, where it's just like 20 shots, 15 on target, 1 goal. Right. How?
Yeah, and it also seems like they caught a little bit of our bug too, where they just had trouble finishing. So
and the keeper had a worldie. Yeah. Because Brad Guzan certainly had, in my opinion, his best game as a 5 Stripe. Definitely. He set our record for saves, which, as Jay Riddle saw, won't be broken by another bald anytime soon. So I think that'll stand. But yeah, I mean, Brad Guzan was incredible in this game. Yeah. He made all kinds of saves. One-on-ones, foot saves, off free kicks. It was incredible.
Fingertip saves.
Yeah, I mean, he was absolutely playing out of, you know, this world. And at least someone was. I mean, the only other good highlights for me was the goal in which had a phenomenal David Beckham-esque ball played in from Julian Gressel, which was fantastic. And then a great finish by Joseph. That aside, especially in the second half, Atl Utd could not pass the ball and string 2, 3, 4 passes together without losing it. I think losing Miggy definitely affected that because he is really good in possession when he gets the ball, especially when we're deep. He can manage to beat a player or two and make a run out of it, and we lacked that in the second half.
Right, no, definitely. And then also another aspect is maybe Barco didn't have his very best game, but then he was taken out early, which really didn't help us in the latter part of the match where we were looking to just grasp a little bit of possession. And so it wasn't the easiest. And, you know, I think the substitutions kind of, I mean, I'm not really sure what they really helped, but, you know, it is what it is.
I think the Romario Williams one, obviously, that's a forced change.
Well, yeah.
You know, that one aside, I actually, at the beginning of the second half, I kind of liked the way that Atl Utd were looking, playing with 2 out-and-out strikers. For sure. I think potentially that could be something that, if we had to play that, I think it could work, albeit I don't think it would work in a 3-5. Well, maybe it could work in the 3-5 but I don't know. That's starting to kind of wear on me because I think our performances have gradually gotten worse playing in that system.
And also, maybe it's people have figured it out. 1, 2, playing on this pitch.
Is difficult.
Yeah, especially just you don't have as much space. That's the problem. I mean, you know, when you have 5 midfielders pretty much occupying almost the same space, it's incredibly difficult to.
It's easy to get pressed against, which is, you know, NYCFC, especially in the second half, had almost the entire, after the goal especially, almost the entire game was being played in the Atl Utd half.
Right.
And it was easy for them to keep pressing because it's hard to get beat over the top when you only have 1 or 2 guys maybe trying to make that run, and there's enough space for your keeper to come out and clear it if he has to, because Atl Utd were sitting so deep.
Right.
So it's a tough pitch. I think it's a stupid pitch in my opinion. Like, it's way too tiny for professional football to be played on. But it is what it is. And Atl Utd, you know, they got that point, and it's a good road point. And again, unbeaten on the road since that opening match against Houston. I can't really find too many complaints with that.
Yep.
And if you can manage to dig out a result and not play well, you can't be too unhappy. And, you know, they didn't play well, and they didn't get battered somehow. So I guess I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky, absolutely, because 3 shots hit the post.
The inside of the post.
Inside of the post, exactly. And there were some wide open shots from Vieira. I mean, it was
he had one in the second half where it was him versus Brad Guzan, and he could have picked out the top corner, and he just hit it straight at him. Or one time he straight up blazed it over the crossbar. So I don't think it was actually the best game from David Villa, and I think Atlanta United were very much lucky that he was not on form on Saturday.
Agreed. And I think also another aspect of why maybe NYCFC, not that they need an excuse to play so well at home, but they didn't have the best form coming in, but playing at home, and also with their manager, Patrick Vieira, possibly leaving pretty much after this match. He's been linked with Ligue 1 side Nice, and you know, he's maybe trading the you know, the city for you know, the French Riviera, and
not a bad trade in my opinion.
Yeah,
not a bad trade.
Yeah, and for that, the team might have galvanized in his steed essentially. And David Villa definitely said something to Patrick Vieira after the match. Pretty much, I think he was heard earshot in saying, "Thanks for everything." Now, if that doesn't mean that he's leaving, I don't know what does.
Yeah, I mean, it is an Atlanta United podcast, but I think I'd be remiss not to at least say how well of a job Patrick Vieira has done as the manager of NYCFC. And, you know, I think he'll do a very good job at Nice as well. But he's also taking his entire coaching staff, apparently, which wouldn't exactly be a good thing for NYCFC. But at the end of the day, I don't care, because NYCFC are owned by the City Group, which is owned by Manchester City. And being a Man United fan, which most of you know, I hate them. So hopefully they implode and do terrible for the rest of the year, because I don't want to play them because their pitch is stupid. But all joking aside, no, I think he's done a great job, and I think you know, he's a loss for the league because I think he's one of the top head coaches in the league. Yeah. He was very complimentary of Atlanta United and the atmosphere that we've created here. You know, we'll see what they do with the new head coach. Again, it's not ideal for them, but they tried their best to send him out with a win, but Brad Guzan in the post said no. Definitely.
And I think if he does leave, it speaks volumes about the quality of this league, and how, you know, if we're a feeder for head coaches, then, you know, it might be a good thing for guys to move on from here. So
yeah, well, I mean, heck, if it's coaches and players coming from the league, that says that the league is growing. If Europe's looking at this at Major League Soccer and going, okay, you know, and Vieira was also, obviously he wasn't going to get it, but he was linked with the Arsenal job as well. I mean, if European clubs are looking at the players here and looking at the coaches here, then something's going right, because usually it's been the opposite of who's old and used up, let's take those guys.
And to be fair to him, though, he also has an incredible, you know, pedigree as a player. Yes. So it's probably a part of it.
He only, you know, captained the Invincible side, I believe, and won a lot of trophies with both Arsenal and Juventus and AC Milan, I believe. So he's pretty good at what he did.
So anyway, so let's get into the quotes from the match. Michael Parkhurst answered the question why they weren't able to break out. He said, "They were just possessing it well, pinning us deep. The 5 of us in the back, we were in one line. Defensive midfielders in Jeff and sometimes Darlington were pinned deep with runners. And so when we did get the ball, it was just Joseph and Romario up there by themselves, so they couldn't hold on to it for us, and it just came straight back down." If that's not a case of us needing maybe to play a 4-2-3-1 in this match, I don't know what is, because I think, you know, the space, yeah, like the pitch isn't that wide to begin with. I mean, when you have maybe 4 at the back, it's occupying enough space there, and then, you know, there's enough space for us to maybe at least play some triangles, something to
well, I mean, again, we kind of talked about it last week about how with a 3-5-2, or in this case a 5-3-2, you know, you only have your width from your wing backs, and if they get pinned back in the back, which in this game they were, and it's happened over the last month as well where they have been, you have no natural width aside from your central midfielders pulling wide in Barco and Almiron, and when they do that, your defensive midfielders are left exposed, and then they get pinned. And then in this case, we had 2 out-and-out strikers up top, and it's hard to get the ball to them when the pitch is that small, and NYCFC have us, you know, pinned that deep. So Yeah, I think in that case a 4-2-3-1 would be good because you have two more guys out wide, which naturally can occupy that space. And even if they are coming back doing their duties defensively, they can break forward because that's their, that's their brief to do so. So, maybe that is a switch, but at the same time, if Almiron's out and Villalba's out for this coming match against, Columbus Crew, we may see the 3-5-2 again, just out of, who's fit.
Sure, absolutely. And Brad Guzan had this to say about what we need to do to improve. He said, I think our organization defensively, we can't allow someone like David Villa time on the ball to make a pass. We can't allow someone like Maxi Morales to be able to pick his head up and find David Villa, who's making a great run as somebody else is pulling out one of our center backs and creating a massive gap. Space for Villa to run into and Maxi to play it into him. Yeah, I mean, it's something, this match, I think, showed the defensive frailties that we may have from time to time, especially being, just exposed behind our wingbacks. They definitely took advantage of that. Yeah,
I mean, and also thinking about it, it's a really complicated thing because Atlanta United played 4-3-3-1 in the first match of the season away from home and got blown away. In a very similar situation because the positioning wasn't there and we got taken to pieces because the center backs were isolated in one-on-one scenarios. And that kind of happened again. And maybe it's just going to the training ground and getting that work done and trying to get that defensive, positioning sorted out amongst the team. I think it's a really complicated issue. I'm under no means qualified to even make a really solid opinion on it because Atlanta haven't looked great. They have the talent there, but thankfully I think they have the best manager in the league in Tata Martino, and I trust that he will figure out whatever's going wrong because he's clearly not satisfied with what he's seeing.
Right.
So he's going to put the work in to make sure that the boys get right, and you can see from them in their quotes that they know that they're not playing at the level they expect to play at. So, at least this is happening now in May and June where they're struggling a bit, and they'll figure it out and then push forward. Maybe this nice little mini break with the World Cup starting this week will give them that time they need to rest, get some injuries sorted out, and start training and get back to, trying to figure out and improving to get to where they want to be.
Yep, so let's get into our mailbag questions from this week. So Mario L from YouTube asks, anything on the rumors about Jose Martinez going to Cruz Azul in Liga MX?
Well, it's not just Cruz Azul that he's been linked to. Apparently, he was also linked to Club America on an independent Club America website. However, in the same post, it talked about how certain journalists said that he'd be valued at least $40 million. I think that's a bit excessive. I think he's definitely a $25 to $30 million player. Either way, I'm firmly of the belief that we can shoot those rumors down. I don't think any club in Mexico can afford him because of the fee that Atlanta would command because of how important he is to this team. I also don't think that it's necessarily attractive to him. He's already an international with the Venezuelan national team, and I don't think he'd want to trade, Atlanta for really anywhere else right now with pretty much all of his friends with the team that he has here, the culture he has here. We know he loves the nightclub scene here. There's a lot about Atlanta that he really loves, so I don't see him wanting to leave. I don't see the club wanting him to leave, at least not anywhere else other than Europe. And even earlier this year, he shot down anything about him wanting to go back to Europe. So I think it's safe to say Joseph Martinez is staying here. I'd love to see him stay for a long time. And if he does, I think he could put up a goal record that I don't think anyone will ever break.
Also from YouTube, Connor Thompson asks, is LGP in car trouble again? 6 yellows.
He is in trouble if he picks up 2 more. If he picks up 2 more, he'll find himself with another suspension, with just 1 match and another fine. It's actually interesting that MLS doesn't increase its suspensions based upon the cards you have. You only get a 1-match ban every single time you hit your accumulation. I wish he would stop getting them. It's kind of frustrating that he keeps picking them up. However, they keep coming in matches where defensively we're getting pinned against the wall. So it's kind of to be expected in that fact.
It's a strategic foul.
I mean, yeah, and to be fair, you see some of the tackles that he makes. He made an incredible one-on-one tackle in the first half against NYCFC, which personally, in my opinion, I think he was thinking, oh crap, and then yes, I get to make a one-on-one tackle because he loves those things.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, he 2 more yellows, he'll be at 8. He will find himself with another ban. But with the way he plays, it just kind of goes with the way he does it.
Yeah, and so I think we have enough backup to withstand that on occasion. But I think it's definitely, if we're continuing to play 3 at the back, then we're going to be a little shorter because we can't always have 3 healthy, non-suspended, center backs. So tough. But next question comes from Quavo Nichols from Twitter. If Miggy can't go versus Columbus, but Vieira is available, who starts? I think, well, it's something later on what we'll really dig into, but who for you?
I think if Tito's fit, Tito will start. But at the same time, especially if it sticks with the 3-5-2, and again, we'll get into this more with our preview at the end of the show. I think you could see a Barco as the 10 and actually be an actual 3-5-2 in that Barco would be the 10 and you'd see your Mario and Joseph up top as the strikers with Tito coming on as a sub if he's not fully fit. So that's what I would think, especially with the injuries the way that they are. I don't see a system change just yet, but yeah.
And getting into Atlanta United 2, they lost 2-0 to Indy 11, and not much went right for them as they went, again, winless on the road. But they also lost the captain, Jack Metcalf, to injury in this match, so best wishes to him going forward. It's still just learning experiences for the guys, because it's guys that are getting valuable experience that may see first team action in the future at some point. And Atlanta United 2 have 2 matches this week, one on Wednesday and one on Saturday. The Wednesday against Charlotte Independence and Saturday against Ottawa Fury, and both are at Coolray Field.
Yeah, and I mean the thing that he was talking about with winless on the road, what you got to think about is that a lot of these kids, it's a lot of academy players playing, and it's their first taste of professional soccer at any level. They're coming straight from the youth academy to the USL level. And for players who are coming from college, straight from college to USL. The rules are different, it's played different, the season's longer, you're playing against grown men. So I think this year is going to be probably their worst season, or maybe at least for a while, at least for the cycle of players coming through, because these players haven't played at this level before. So they are getting valuable experience. And I bet if you watch them play next season, they'll all be a year older and a year wiser and be playing better. So the results, again, we've said multiple times, don't concern me. They're getting just invaluable experience at this level that we really can't put anything on, because you saw it when they played against the USL, against Charleston Battery last week. They played with confidence. Mm-hmm. Carlton played with more confidence in that game than I've seen him at any time playing for Atlanta United. So you can see the positives that it's having so far, and I think it'll continue to be a great thing for Atlanta United and for the first team.
And moving on to the standings, Atlanta United are 2 up on NYCFC after that draw, and so it's still happy days for us. And they're also 3 up on Columbus Crew coming into the match. So, not too bad, even after kind of a rough match.
Yeah, Columbus also have played one more game, so this match on Wednesday is actually massive because it could stretch the gap to almost 9 points if Atlanta United win that game in hand and beat Columbus Crew on Wednesday. So that's a sizable gap, especially at this point in the season. And with NYCFC possibly losing their coach and their whole staff, Atlanta United really need to take advantage of these next few matches, which are all really big matches, with a few of them coming at home, where our form has been But overall, looking at the Supporters' Shield standings, Atlanta United remain in first. However, FC Dallas have a game in hand, and if they win that game in hand, they will go 1 point clear of Atlanta United, with those teams meeting in Dallas on the 4th of July. So, next month, a lot of really big games coming up for Atlanta United that could possibly define where they end up at the end of this season.
And getting to our match preview for the Columbus Crew game on Wednesday, it's at 7:30 at Mapfre Stadium in Columbus. And it's bound to be a really tough match because, well, they bounced us off of the playoffs. And if Zach Steffen is playing, it's going to be tough. And, I mean, he showed against France in the U.S. men's national team friendly. It was just...
I think Atlanta United fans knew. We saw that and we're like, yep, that's about right. Yep, that's about right. And, I mean, he was doing that against players. Ian Dark said it. Yeah, and during the broadcast, he was going against guys that play for Man United, Real Madrid, PSG, Barcelona, and he was making some incredible saves against the best players in the world. So that's pretty flippin' impressive for a guy who's a young guy with only, I believe, 3 or 4 caps under his belt. So yeah, we get to go against that guy. I really want him after Kusa. Guzan leaves. Just saying we should trade for him after Guzan.
Yeah, maybe after they go to Austin, you know,
we can just be like, hey, we need the best U.S. keeper, and then we'll just take him. Or he'll go to Europe because he's looking pretty damn good. So as long as he's not playing for Columbus when we play them, but unfortunately, it looks like he may be on Wednesday.
Yeah, and so for Columbus's previous results, they've drawn their last 3 games essentially, and they drew 1-1 against New York Red Bulls. They drew 3-3 against Toronto FC, and they drew 0-0 against Sporting KC. So you know, they definitely have some danger men though. Jossie Zardes is second in the league with 10.
This is definitely his best season in MLS.
For sure.
Pretty much ever. He's never scored at this rate.
Yeah, and I think it's the service that he's getting from the likes of Federico Higuain. 4 goals, 7 assists. Definitely always a danger man, and you know, you're always in danger of being chipped by him. So don't want that. And you also have their new left back, Milton Valenzuela, who we were in on in the offseason a little bit, but he went to them. He's one of their DPs, and using a DP spot on a left back is interesting.
Bold move, Cotton, but so far it seems to be paying off for him.
Working out pretty well for them. He's playing really, really well, and yeah, and of course, yeah, you know, I just hope Zach Steffen somehow just has
maybe he's just, or he's just like, you know, he's traveling back, he's jet lagged, he had, you know, a long time of international duty. Let's rest him. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Columbus, just you know, rest him. He doesn't need to play. It's fine. It's fine. But you know, regardless of that, Atlanta United have some injury problems.
For sure.
Miguel Almiron, shoulder issue. Not sure if he'll play. Personally, I don't think he will. There's no reason to risk him, especially with a week.
I don't think so.
And potentially even more, because I don't think he'll play against Chicago in the U.S. Open Cup. Tito Villalba still questionable with a knee injury, and then Michael Parkhurst had to receive some treatment at the end of the NYCFC game as well.
Right.
So
yeah,
it's interesting times to be playing difficult matches against the top of the table opponents in the East.
Especially, yeah, figuring out our formation, as you know, we mentioned before. If those guys aren't available, yeah, the formation susses out. Similar to what you were saying up top, I think, yeah, it's you know, it's Barco in the middle, it's Romario, it's Joseph. They definitely earned that time. And so how the back looks, I think it's very similar to the NYCFC match. And I don't think he's going to go 4 at the back. I mean, I think on the road, you know, in a bigger stadium, in a bigger pitch, I think we'll at least be able to do what we do well on the road. So yeah, it'll be a Guzan, or Guzan rather, and it will be LGP, it will be Parkey, it will be Escobar, and Ambrose and Gressel as our wingbacks. So
with Larry and Nagby predictably in the middle as well.
Right.
I don't think, to go with what you were saying, I don't think now is the time for him to change system. If anything, since they've been playing the system for so long over the last few months, I think you might see the 4-2-3-1 coming out of this little mini break we might have with the U.S. Open Cup in between. I think given that time for players to get healthy and for them to train properly, I think that's when we'll see a switch back to the 4-2-3-1, assuming everyone is fit for that. Because I think Tata's frustrated. I think he knows that he needs to be a bit more aggressive, and I just don't think this is the match that we'll see that.
Yeah. So, what do you think is going to happen in this match? What's your score prediction?
I am, well, I've been not positive recently, and it's been somewhat decent, and me looking like an idiot. I thought we were going to lose to Charleston. We didn't, and we drew against NYCFC. I'm going to stick with being negative because we looked terrible on Saturday. If Zach Steffen plays, I have no confidence in us scoring past him because previous history says no. I'm going to go with a 2-1 loss to the Columbus Crew, and if we get one, I would be impressed because our finishing, again, has not been great, and if it's Steffen in goal, I'm terrified.
Okay. I'm going even more drab, and I think it's going to be a 0-0 draw.
I take it. I take it. Don't care. I'd take it.
I want some goals, man, and I want to win, but I just, yeah, the feeling is not great. Especially, yeah, I mean, it's just...
with a short break in between 2 games where you just didn't play well, I'm just not confident going into this one. And it's just the form. They just haven't looked good over the last 4 to 6 weeks. Finishing has been crap all season. And, you know, I just have negative feelings about playing Columbus. And last year, it was Tito Villalba who had 2 goals that won that game. this year he might not even play. So, you know, it's still early days in the season, though. It's just, I'm just not confident. I really don't want to see a loss, but I'm not hopeful. And for our question of the day, we're switching things up a little bit. With the World Cup starting on Thursday, and with not very many Atlanta United matches and none on the weekend, we were curious to see who are you guys supporting at the World Cup and why. I'm supporting Germany because, well, that's where my family's from. I'm second generation German, and the US obviously isn't there. So, me, and I'm definitely Jay Riddle, if you follow him, you can tell that guy is all in on Die Mannschaft, so we'll see what happens. But get down in the comments below and let us know what you think.
Guys, with the World Cup coming up this week and Atlanta United only having one match, we have other content coming out, so check it out. That's it for us today. Remember to subscribe if you haven't, smash a like, and share this video because it really does help us a lot. And for Tanner McLeod, I'm AJ. Thank you guys so much for watching.